So here we have the parts of mitochondria, but we're not going to talk that much in this part because we're going to talk about the process. Here it's quite complicated, yes, but I made a simplified version and I hope that this will help you um, with your studies. So here we have the components in electron transport chain. So we have the NADH dehydrogenase or the complex 1, ubiquinone, the CoQ, complex 2, the succinate dehydrogenase, cytochrome C reductase, which is the complex 3, cytochrome C, which is the site C, and then of course the cytochrome C oxidase complex 4, and we have of course the ATP synthase. And here at the bottom, we have the protons. Later on, we will know what is really the function of protons in this part. So of course, we have here underneath the matrix and we have the intermembrane space. So as you can see from both lines, this is actually happening in the membrane of mitochondria. Okay, so let's get started. So what will happen first, of course, is NADH will arrive in complex 1. Where did we get the NADH? This is from the glycolysis and Krebs cycle. So as you can see in our previous topic that there's some oxidation and reduction happen, and that's where the NADH came from. NADH is an electron carrier. From the word it says electron carrier, it carries electron. So electron will be given to complex 1. So as soon as complex 1 receives the electron, it will get energized. Once it gets energized, it will pump protons. So from matrix, it will move to intermembrane space. We will learn later on what is really the function of proton. Then later on, as it keeps on pumping, for example, it is finished, electron will be transported to CoQ. Remember that in Krebs cycle, in glycolysis, oxidative phosphorylation, there are just two electron carriers. We have the NADH, and of course we have the FADH2. So basically the same thing, FADH2 will be giving the electron to complex 2. After it gives the electrons, it will become FAD. So you can see that complex 2 cannot just hand over the electrons because as you can see, CoQ already has one. So just think about this as it needs to give the electrons to complex 2. When it is vacant, then electron can accept the CoQ can accept the electron from complex 2. Basically the same thing. Electron will be given to complex 3. This will get energized and protons will be pumped again. So what is really the function of proton? We will know later. Complex 3 will then transport to site C. Think of site C and CoQ as just the bus. So basically bus is transporting passengers and basically the same thing with CoQ and site C. So site C will be transporting the electron to complex 4. Complex 4, 3, and 1 basically have the same function, but the difference between them is that complex 4 is going to bind electrons to oxygen and protons. In this situation, this will occur as or result as water. So this is another byproduct of ATP respiration. you can actually see that when we talk, it's not just carbon dioxide that we release, but also a few mist of water or water droplets, in which this is where it came from. So now let's talk about the protons and the ATP synthase. Think of ATP synthase as a turbine. There's like a turbine inside. For it to work, it needs it needs protons to pass through. And as it passes through, it actually spins the turbine inside the ATP synthase. And as it spins, it binds the ADP and phosphate inside, creating ATP. Yes, so as you can see, this is also another way for our body to create ATP. It's not just ATP synthase, there's also some process that doesn't require ATP synthase. It's called substrate phosphorylation. So here in this PowerPoint, you can see that ATP synthase is the only one who didn't accept the electron. Even though this is called electron transport chain, ATP synthase is not actually part of electron transport chain.